Time to look at our caterpillars. Take a good close look, and we'll be right back to find out some fun facts about our caterpillars. All right, let's take a look at the life cycle again. Now, the part that we missed was the egg. We didn't see them in their little eggs. We've seen them hatched out of their eggs and into what's called a larva. A larva is another name for a caterpillar. Now, if we take a look over here, I have two pictures. One of them is just a drawing of the caterpillar, and it goes into all the different parts of the caterpillar. We have tentacles, which we usually call them antennas. And then we have something called bristles. Those are those little jaggedy things that come out of the caterpillar. The thorax, so if we look at, it has a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. All insects have three body parts. The head is just like our head. It has the eyes, it holds the antennas. The thorax is the middle part of the body, and then the abdomen holds the digestive system in the caterpillar. So that's like the tail end of it. And then it has something called true legs, prolegs, and spiracles, and we'll talk about those a little later. But what I also put up here was an actual photo of a caterpillar. So what it did was it took the drawing and it took the actual photo and it compared the two. So you could actually see what it looked like. But sometimes it's easier to see on a drawn diagram what we're really looking at, because obviously the caterpillar's not that big, so they've blown the picture up and it gets sometimes a little blurry, so it's hard to see. Now, I wanted to take a look at our calendar. So we have a calendar here. This is our April calendar, and we had the caterpillars arrive on the 17th. So every day I've been taking a look at them. Here we have the calendar, and I wanted to track the different stages that the caterpillars go through. So if we take a look, on the 17th is when the caterpillars arrived here, and we had a good look at them. They were pretty small. On the bottom was the food, and here they are again. So all of this is the food that you see, and the caterpillars were pretty small. Now, don't get me wrong, they're not huge yet, but they're growing. Now, I don't know if you saw really close in the last video, but it has some thread-like things inside here. It almost looks like a web, and actually that's exactly what it is. It's webbing, and that webbing helps them to protect themselves against anyone trying to eat them. So any kind of predators, it helps to protect them. So that's why you're seeing the different webbing inside. And actually they say when they go up into the J and then a chrysalis, what you need to do is sometimes there's so much webbing in there, you might have to like wipe some away so that it doesn't bother them trying to get up into the J. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So what do they eat? Well, I want to read you a little something about what caterpillars eat, because when we look in there, you can't really tell what it is. So let me just read this to you, and then we'll go from there. So, butterflies lay their eggs on the types of plants that the caterpillars like to eat. A female butterfly can tell if a plant is suitable to lay eggs on by chemicals released from the plant after she drums her legs on the leaf's surface. Caterpillars use their strong jaws to munch on the leaves of the trees and plants with flowers. They often eat just one type of plant during their lifetime. Monarch caterpillars will eat only milkweed leaves, while painted lady caterpillars prefer thistle, hollyhock, or mallow plants. Caterpillars don't need to drink water. They get all the moisture they need from the leaves they eat. Now, we actually have the painted ladies. So our painted ladies eat thistle, hollyhock, or mallow plants. Do you know what those look like? I gotta tell you, I don't either. So I'm gonna have to find out what those look like for next time. But I'm guessing what happens is all this plant food that they put here, I'll bet that's mashed up plants that they put on the bottom, and the caterpillars have been eating it as they've been going along. Now, another thing that they go through is something called molting. So while they're a caterpillar, you're gonna see there's gonna be little things on the bottom of the jar here. And what happens is the caterpillar is molting, which means it's shedding its skin. It will shed its skin about 4 or 5 times before it goes up into the J and turns into a caterpillar. I thought that was really interesting. So that goes to show you how fast it actually grows. It grows so fast, it's almost like it's growing out of its skin. So kind of think of like a crab or a turtle or something that has a shell. As it gets bigger, it needs a bigger shell to go into. So same thing with caterpillars. Their skin is their protection. So as they grow, they need to have a bigger skin to fit them. So it's pretty interesting. So what I want us to do is I want us to track these things. So the question I have for you today is this. It's called Think About It. How many days did it take for your caterpillar to start spinning sticky threads? Well, when we got ours, there was no sticky threads. I can tell you that over the weekend on Sunday, so we were here on, they arrived on the 17th. On the 19th is when they started to do the sticky thread, and they've been doing it every day since. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to video them for you, just a little snippet every single day from here on out, and this way we'll be able to really see how big they grow. I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to catch them when they start to go into the chrysalis, and it's amazing because it happens in the blink of an eye. One time I was in my classroom and I looked at them like, oh yes, they're going to turn. I turned around, I did something, I came back and it was already in the chrysalis, so I missed it. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to catch it for you guys. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your first drawing that you did when we first saw the caterpillars. And now, next to that, I want you to draw a second picture. So obviously the caterpillars are a little bigger, but I also want you to draw what it's in. So I want you to draw the jar. I want to make sure that you have some of that webbing in there. And also, you can see how some of the food has been eaten. It has like little bumps in the bottom. So what I want you to do is draw everything you see. These are going to be some great observations for you. And hopefully by the end, you'll see how each stage the caterpillar gets a little bigger and bigger until it finally goes into its chrysalis.